Welcome to Sandstoneherald, this particular moment of the day. Today we are talking about Jeremiah chapter 37. Jeremiah 37 is a very interesting read. It actually brings out an interesting experience for Jeremiah. He has been a free man and he could move up and down. He could go anywhere he wanted. He was actually enjoying life. Life was great. Things were good. So he decided that he's going to go to the Benjamin tribe, the community where he was brought up, so that he can get land which he had purchased. He had sent his cousin to go and buy her for him land. So he was actually just going to acquire it, and then he comes back into Jerusalem. Now, but you see, the king had sent a message to ask him, what is the Lord thinking? Because the Babylonians have surrounded us, and they are threatening to bring down the walls of Jerusalem, but we are not so sure. But then news suddenly happens. The Egyptians, because the king Zedekiah sent a word to the Egyptians and tell them, please come and help us fight the Babylonians. So the Egyptians left Egypt and they were coming. So as they were coming, the Babylonians are told the Egyptians are coming. So they left Jerusalem to go and fight the Egyptians. And as they were just on their way going back, of course news goes to the king, and the king says, they've left, so at least we are fine. So that's when he sends a message, tells Jeremiah, what is the Lord saying? We want to know what God is saying. Now remember that Zedekiah was a puppet king. He had been put there by Nebuchadnezzar, but now he had grown horns and he wanted to rule without permission, without anything, no respect for the king of Babylon. And so he's saying, what is the Lord saying? Tell me what the Lord is saying. Now, interestingly, friends, this is what happens. Jeremiah doesn't just give a response immediately, but he decides, let me go to Benjamin and get my property. As he was leaving through to the Benjamin gate, because each of the tribes of the city had gates, and the gate that led to the Benjamin, actually when he was there, he got arrested by the captain of the guard in charge of the gate. And the guy says, no, you are escaping, you are following the Babylonians, you're going to the Babylonians' hands because you've been telling us to surrender to the Babylonians. You're one of the guys who are leaving. You're a betrayer, you're a traitor, you are the guy that we need. The guy arrested him, brought him back into town. People got so annoyed, the officials of the king got annoyed, they beat him and locked him up. He was locked up in prison, in a dungeon, and he stayed there for a while. Then the king remembers, because the Babylonians have all left, and says, what is the Lord saying, Jeremiah? Please get him, tell him, what is the Lord saying? And of course Jeremiah is annoyed, he's angry, and the Lord had spoken that the Babylonians are coming back. So he tells him, the Babylonians will be back. They will destroy this city. They will destroy, they'll burn down the building. They will burn down the wall. Everything is going to go down. So be prepared. Don't listen to the prophets who are telling you. In fact, even you will be killed. Your body will be thrown out into the wilderness, and they will be eaten by birds and will be hit by the sun, and the weather will be on you. It's going to be bad news for you. Of course, Nebuchadnezzar promised, and he came back. Well, we will find out that as we go, but he came back and destroyed the city. But Zedekiah was so annoyed with Jeremiah. But then Jeremiah pleads his case and says, please, sir, don't get me back to the prison. That place is not good for me. I'll die if you take me there. I've not committed any crime. I just told you what the Lord told me. I was innocent. I am innocent. Don't kill me. Don't kill me by locking me up. Well, then the king said, fine, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put you under house arrest. You will be in the compound, just here in the yard. That's where you'll stay. Now you'll not be in a dungeon, you'll be in the yard, sitting there all the days of your life. And he was locked up, actually under house arrest in the yard, and he stayed there for a very long time. Now, what does this teach us about the word of the Lord? Number one is that, well, for Jeremiah to begin with, as a prophet, he experienced three types of life. He experienced freedom when he was free to go anywhere. Then he was imprisoned, and then he was under house arrest. Now, those tells us several things about the word of the Lord, that sometimes the word of the Lord will encounter freedom where we can preach it and be comfortable. But there are times we will be enclosed, like during this corona period, we were in church in isolation and we were locked up and we couldn't. Some people now, we had to use social media to preach, but then now under house arrest, which basically means it's limited, controlled, the number of people that come in and go out. But then for the truth of the word is this: number one, if you want to tell the truth, it's never always going to be easy. People will misunderstand you. People will think you're a collaborator with the wrong people. People will think you're not being honest. But stick to the truth. It will save your life. Number two, there's a price to be paid if you want to stand for the truth. It's never going to be easy. There's a price to pay. And sometimes you will pay with your life. And many people have died for the truth purposes. So be ready to lose your life for it if you want to stand by it. And number three is that God sometimes may be silent. And we've written a book about it, and we're trying to bring that book. It will come out for one of these fine days. Maybe by next month, it should be out for the church, that we can be able to use it to fellowship and study it. God might be silent. Sometimes you might just think he's not going to answer. He just keeps quiet. But that doesn't mean he's asleep. No, he's not asleep. He's not away. He's not gone. I mean, just like, what do you think God was doing when Paul was being beaten? What do you think God was doing when Peter was in prison? What do you think God was doing when Stephen was being stoned? What do you think God was doing when Jeremiah was being beaten? He was present. He may have been silent, but he wasn't asleep. Our God never forgets. And I want you to remember that. He never forgets. And because he has promised to be with you, yes, sometimes in that moment of persecution, he will be there. But the good news is this: he will not forget. That person who's persecuted you, that situation that has taken you down, he will come through for you. And when he is done, you will look back and say, it was worth it remaining faithful, remaining true, and remaining obedient to God. God bless you and have a lovely, lovely day.